so distracted. Here's the Wilpon 5. Look at all of us. So Wilpon 5 is me and my cousins. We used to hang out all the time. Look at little Zachary. Can you see his little cute little bottom? It's so cute. Erica, Lisa, Alex, where am I? Sleeping? We all look so tired in this. Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Kim Wilpon Crafts. Also, Happy New Year's if you're watching this in the order that the videos come out in. If not, just hey, how's it going? So if we have not yet met, my name is Kim. I am a crafter, I am a knitter, a lover of all things crafty and artsy and stuff. So if you clicked on this video, you know I'm about to reorganize this stuff. The nice thing about setting up for this video today was that I didn't have to clean up because that's part of what I'm going to be doing today. So let's get started on this, right? So organization is really, really important. This whole month, we are going to be doing 4 episodes of self-care for crafters. And self-care comes in all shapes and forms, right? Sometimes it's eating a healthy food, sometimes it's taking a nap, sometimes it's calling a friend, sometimes it's taking a bubble bath, sometimes it's just staying in bed and watching movies and eating all the junk food in the world. But today, for me anyway, one of the things that I like to do to help myself mentally clear the clutter from my head is to actually clear the clutter from my space. It's very cluttered in here right now. Things have spaces, but some things are really hard for me to get to and I use them more frequently. Some other things I don't use ever and they are sitting in an area which could be designated to something that I do use more frequently. So I am going to do a lot of cleaning. We're not going to redo the whole thing. We're just going to do bits and pieces, but things that will benefit me and my mental health and my self-care. So one of the first things I'm going to do today is my beloved partner Dolan for the holidays bought me a new desk. Mine is 10 years old and it has a lot of water damage because I didn't know how to block sweaters correctly back in the day. So this table just has a ton of water damage, and so there will be some shifting of furniture. I will be making room for this new desk. I will be placing things more neatly and organizing things that will make my life function a little bit more smoothly, and we'll get into that as we get going. So let's just do it. Can I say that like Nike? Just do it.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
So let's just get to it. Successfully moved in our desk. I cannot find my stand for my microphone that sits on my desk, so it's sort of thwarted my schedule. So now I'm on a mission to find the stand for my mic. It usually sits on a clamp, but underneath the desk is higher than the clamp allows, so I'm gonna have to get a new clamp. But for the time being, I'm using a little microphone, we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it, but I'm gonna go, I have to do this anyway, right? I gotta go through this box right here. So I have some gym equipment. Great, I'm gonna put that on the side. More workouts. One of my first knitting notebooks. It's so cute. Oh, look! Cat headbands with stuff for hanging things on the wall. This is actually really sentimental. This bag belonged to my grandmother, and it came with all of her like DMC and needlepoint stuff. But inside is a pack of Sweet and Low, and I don't drink the stuff now, but I used to put this in my coffee and tea. But my grandmother always had it in her house, and it always kind of makes me a little bit sentimental just to look at it. So I always leave the Sweet and Low packet in there. I don't know, it feels like a luck. It feels like she's with me when I'm crafting. I keep toying with the idea of painting on this little canvasy bag, but I don't know if that would take away from the sentimentality, or I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments if I should do something crafty with this bag. I'd love to hear your responses. You're gonna go in the artsy pile. I used to have this dresser and I had all these like fun knobs on it from like Anthropologie. It was a really cool piece. More cat headbands. If you need a cat headband, you know where to contact me. Leave me a message, slide into my Instagram DMs. You want a cat headband, I will mail you one. And more project bags than I thought I actually had. We have some things organized, just not everything. Masks. When I used to spray paint. But that's probably garbage that's been down there for so long. It's so dirty. We're at like the bottom of this thing. Okay, there's actually just so much to do. Okay, so this has all been emptied very successfully. I am going to get a vacuum and then I am going to start putting things away as necessary to make my life a little bit easier. See you in a bit? Okay, so my ottoman is now officially organized. I've only kept things in there that I actually need to use. And I put other things that were in there. Either they were pieces of garbage, I don't know why they were in there. And then other pieces, all that hardware, I put in our hardware cabinet where it should belong. And so now I'm going to kind of move through my knitting stuff. So there's a lot of it. And a lot of it, I actually believe I've organized really well already. But through this year, it's just a little out of control. Not in the amount of stash, just how I've managed my organization. So now I'm gonna go through some stuff because I really want to eliminate the amount that is out or the amount that is kind of displaced. I kind of have like bins everywhere in the back and hiding, and projects are missing pieces. So I just want to get things in project bag, organize my yarn according to weight. That's really important to me so I know where to reach for things. So let's get to it. This is a project. I'm going to leave it next to me right now. This is also a project. It's in a bag, fantastic. I'm so proud of it. This is a project and it's missing pieces, so I'm gonna go find those. And I've put all of my extra project bag in my ottoman so I know exactly where they are. I just need to take all this out so I know where I am. I'm gonna try to find a place for unicorn tails only so that they can have their own kind of home. And now everything in this bin here is sock/fingering weight yarn. And I actually think I'm going to keep these kits right on top along with my yarn baby. My yarn baby I think is going to be the next project. When it comes to leftover skeins, like you get to the end of a project, you've got a couple of skeins left over, you don't know what to do with them. You could save them to do a little blanket of pieces of, of finished projects that you have. You can make them into mini skeins and do a project that would use mini skeins. But I like to do what I've been doing. I put them in a shadow box. And so I can remember all of my projects and then they're kind of showcased in this like very interesting artsy sort of way. And it's special to me. So if you have extra things, this one is not very deep. So these super bulky ones cannot fit in here, but I have a lot of mohair in here and fingering weight. This is worsted, but they're small. This will be too big and I won't be able to shut it. But I really wanted to show you all this little showcasing as a way of organizing your scrap pieces of yarn from different projects. You didn't know that couch had storage underneath. What? I'm actually going to try to put as much as I can in here as makes sense. I have a lot of yarn left over, so now I'm gonna try to separate that into their proper weights so that I can maybe use them for like a scrap project at some point. All of my extra fingering weight goes back on that door with a mohair on top and some art yarns below. I think it's time to get some Ziploc bags. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have put away that bin. I think I've got everything in there that I could have squeezed in. Now I'm going to divide up this yarn so that I could potentially make something with all my scrap yarn, which would be really cool and really fun. So I'm gonna get all of my DK and worsted weight together. I hope these bags are big enough. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear what your ideas are for a scrap pattern. I have a lot of scraps of worsted weighted yarn. I also like to keep them all separated by weight. It just makes it easier that if I'm doing color work, I can actually see what I have and even weigh it and say, do I have enough grams to do, the color work with what I already have, instead of just buying more yarn. Now I've got all of my worsted weight yarn in this bin with my roving. All right, so I'm gonna get this super bulky stuff in a bag together. Maybe one day I can make kind of a scrap bulky scarf or hat. I don't know. Now, I'm not gonna put that back because I really want to try to reorganize the whole space back there, so I'm going to leave that out. In the meantime, I'm going to also put stuff like that, needle away, and break down these needles, which I found on the floor. Honestly, this is starting to feel less stressful. I think in the beginning it feels daunting. Like, how do I take on such a monumental task when I haven't cleaned this, not cleaned, I guess, but organized everything or reorganized everything in so long? It can feel so overwhelming. Like, where do you even begin? So I'm good about this kind of stuff, like putting this stuff away. And all my needles live together, so it makes that really easy to find. I probably do need to go through some things and move certain objects into a new spot. There are things that I just don't use as regularly as others. Okay, so I legitimately had to listen back to my sound to figure out what I was talking about that I wanted to show you. And what I wanted to show you was I have binders that are all labeled different things. This one says art inspiration, so they're all photos of things that I've painted or felted or currently working on, and they're all in that binder. I do think things like label makers really save you when it comes to organizing. Like, I don't always remember what box I put something in, but if it has a label on it, I can read the label and I immediately know what is inside that box. Like, I don't know what is inside this box, and I thought at one point it would be really fun to like decorate this little box, but it did not turn out very well. Oh, interesting. They're beads. I have beads in here, and I also have different business cards in here. That's fun. I feel like I need to go through those. I'm probably gonna get rid of that box because it doesn't serve any extra purpose for me, and it really doesn't bring me joy. All right, so my next steps that I'm gonna do on camera is I really wanna push this couch over so that I can actually use that shelf, and that's going to be really important for me. And part of what I'm doing right now is trying to make things more accessible. That bookcase right now is 100% not accessible to me. I have to literally like move it out. It doesn't have wheels on it. If it had wheels, it might be easier, but it does not. So I need it to be accessible for my usage. So I'm gonna go do that. Oh, I tripped. Glimmer, stay. Warning, you should take everything off before you move things. And I'm gonna do this. Do you even fit this way? Oh my gosh, does not fit that way. We're like off, like 6 inches. Do I even have 6 inches here? Not even a little bit. It just cannot go back to the way it was because it was not accessible. Okay. Oh, that was my coffee, no! And on that happy note, this is going to be the end of day 1 because I have to measure things as I should have done before I started this quest. I just made myself a list of things I needed to do to organize, but I didn't measure things. So if you need to move furniture, learn from my mistakes and measure. All right, we're gonna regroup tomorrow, and I think we can get this done. It's really not as bad as I thought, and honestly, it's really coming up with a solution for making things more accessible. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Day 2.
Welcome back. Today is day 2 of organizing. So I said I would come back the next day. It's actually been 2 days, and for the full sake of transparency, I had a rough couple of days emotionally. It didn't feel like self-care to keep organizing and cleaning, so I crafted and I nurtured myself with fitness and conversations with friends. But today I feel good. My mind's right. I am in the zone. I'm in the zone. I don't know why that's so fun to say. And so here are today's goals. Okay, so we are going to rearrange the furniture or finish rearranging the furniture. I have a list. That's why I keep looking down. I don't want to forget. We're going to make the supplies accessible because I have some things that are currently not super accessible. Like my paints are not in a great spot and I can't really get all that. It's got to be accessible. This is the reason why we're doing this. I need to go through my papers and my books. It's like very Marie Kondo. Isn't that like one of her rules? You gotta like go through your papers and your books. It's just, there's like loose paper everywhere. Like where did it come from? Why didn't I put it away then? Past me, why didn't you do that? I don't know. There you have your answer. Okay, and then at the end, I really want to go through my drawers and my bins, and I want to label them so I know exactly what I have in there. If it's a bin full of yarn, I'll probably just write yarn on that, or the weight of the yarn that's in that bin. I don't need to write every single maker, dyer, company. Seems unnecessary. But if I see that's worse to weight and I go into that bin, yeah, I'm over-explaining. I'm over-explaining this. So we're gonna, well, I say we because you're here and I'm here, but also because Dolan has said he's gonna help me. So you might just see him in the time lapse, like now. Okay, so I am done for today. I've done about as much as I possibly can do. Unfortunately, I did not finish organizing today, but I do feel like I'm more than halfway through everything. So the next two steps are going through all my papers and then labeling the things that need to be labeled. And quite frankly, it only feels like a few things, that actually need to be labeled. I'm feeling really, oh, you good? You good, printer? I'm feeling really good after everything I've accomplished today, and I really feel like we got done a lot today. I do feel like that part of my anxiety the last few days were probably in part to do with how cluttered this space was. There always feels like there's a part of organizing where things have to get messier before they appear cleaner, if that makes sense to anybody. Am I alone in this? Also, like, maybe that's a part of like the Marie Kondo method. Like, I don't know. I remember listening to that book. I did an audiobook I listened to the audiobook of Marie Kondo's book. But anyway, I'm starting to feel really good. I'm a little bit sweaty. I can't even believe. I have thought of some interesting things to do in here. Things that I reach for frequently are closer to me by proximity and by availability. So that feels great, that it's not going to be like a struggle to get the things that I need out. And also I feel like I have a lot of space still somehow, some way, there's still a ton of space in here. I feel good. But okay, so tomorrow we'll do papers, we'll do labels, and then shebang, we've done it. We will have done this. And I can't wait to say that I'm done with this project. And then I get to start this new year with fresh space, and it feels good. All right, see you tomorrow.
Day 3.
And we're back. It is officially day 3, and it looks so good in here, and I can't wait for this project to be done and we can start this year fresh. And all I want to do is knit today, and I'm working on this sweater, and all I want to do is knit it. And that's all I've been doing this morning is knitting this sweater, and I want to keep knitting it. I'm wearing a little like neck warmer band thing. It's got, I think, rice in it or something. So today I am going to be going through all my papers. I know, ooh, so exciting. And labeling just a few drawers and bins. And then I will give you a couple of my tips on organizing in small spaces, because this is a teensy tiny space. And I want to leave you with just a little pearls of wisdoms from my time of being in this space and the ways in which I have adapted organizing in a small space. All right, so, oh no. Okay, no. I just want to keep knitting. I was going to say let's get to it, but all I want to do is drink coffee, and it snowed today. Oh, okay. We're going to do it. I'm going to finish, and then we're doing it, and then I'll give you a little tour of everything we've done and how I'm thrilled with how it all turned out. All right, let's get to it. We're done. I actually feel so good that it's done. I've gone through the papers. I've labeled things. I have reorganized this whole room. I've rearranged furniture. I've put things in places that don't belong in here. I have made things so much more accessible, and in the last 5 days, I've already noticed such a big difference in making things accessible. When things are accessible, it's just faster, it's easier, it makes your life so much easier. But I want to give you some quick tips in small spaces. So here's my first big tip. So I've learned as a resident of a city for a very long time that you really need to use the walls to your best ability. So when you can't store things in storage cabinets and it just causes too much clutter, I've learned shelves are great, and I've learned to make the best of small, unique spaces. What I mean by that is I have done things like you saw the other day. I put up my little cross-stitch loops. I just hung them. I hammered some nails into the wall, and I made it kind of like art. I've also done the same thing, and I've been doing this. I did this like when I first moved in here. I hung up my needles, my circular needles. I have so many of them, and it felt too cluttered to keep them all in a bag, and then things would get tangled. It just didn't really bode well for me to have those inside bags, especially the ones that were not interchangeables. And then also I have used things that weren't intended to be made for craft supplies into things that would hold crafts, such as a spice rack. I'm using some DMC that was handed down to me from my grandmother, and they didn't have numbers on them, and they were just sort of loose in her stash of DMC, embroidery thread and such, those things. And I sort of made it to this like rainbow order with, what are those called? Clothespins. I took some clothespins, I wound them up, and I hung them in alphabetical and rainbow order. I'm like so excited that this is done. My brain is like, oh. And then behind me, my yarn is actually on a rack that was meant for a pantry. And I thought that was a great way to use the space. That's such like an awkward space. It's a random door in the middle of this room that no one ever uses. So I decided to use it as yarn storage. Also, going along with that, you can have things that double in purpose. So I purposefully bought the couch behind me. It's a pull-out, so if I have guests over, I can use it for guests to sleep on. But also there's storage underneath, so it's kind of sneaky in that it doubles as storage space. Yeah. And I think those are my 3 hot tips. So using the wall space, utilizing storage items that you might not usually think for craft supplies. Also, I have stickers. I'm planning on getting actually a toilet paper rack for them, but I'm currently using right now a wire hanger to hang all of my stickers. Aren't they so cute? Look how cute they are. Anyway, so just you could think of different ways to utilize your space and items meant for storage for other things. And then, of course, buying furniture that doubles in its purpose. Thank you all so much for hanging in with me on this episode. I already feel my self-love growing even more. Don't forget to like my oh my gosh, let's do this again. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for those notifications, comment, let me know what you do for self-care. I'd love to know. I'm thinking of planning on doing this every January, maybe not organizing, but doing a whole self-care month in January. I like that as sort of like a refresh, restart. This video is never gonna end because I just love talking to you. And I love being part of this community. Thank you for holding space for me here. Don't forget to art with your heart, and I will see you all next week. Bye!